Hello and welcome to Eye on Mortgage. Okay, so one of the most asked questions that I get as a mortgage agent is how can I get approved for a house? What type of credit score do I need? So today I'm going to be providing you with some information that will help you to prepare for your home purchase. Stay tuned. Welcome to Eye on Mortgage, where we keep you updated on what's happening in the mortgage industry and what you need to know about the mortgage process. Are you a first-time home buyer? Looking to refinance? Interested in a private mortgage? Perhaps you want to know more about purchasing a new build or the reverse mortgage product. Whatever your interest, stay tuned to Eye on Mortgage. Oh, and please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Okay, so your credit score is broken down into 5 components, all right? Number 1 would be payment history, and that accounts for 35%. Then number 2 would be your credit mix, which that accounts for 10%. Then we have the length of credit history, and that is 15%. And we have the inquiries, that would be new credit, that accounts for 10%. And finally, we have utilization. That would be the 5th one. All right, that accounts for 30%. Now, all components are important because these are all the components that go into what your credit score is. But if you notice, utilization and payment history, those are a great big chunk. If we're looking at a pie chart, it's a great big chunk. It accounts for 65%. So you really want to focus on those areas when it comes to actually improving your credit score. All right, I will be doing a video soon just breaking down a little bit more about those components. So remember to like, share, remember to subscribe so that you will be notified once I do release that video on YouTube. All right, but once again, you do really want to pay attention to utilization and of course your credit history. That's 30% and 35%. So really kind of, tap into those areas and you will definitely see your credit start to improve based on paying attention to those areas. Now, just a disclaimer, I'm not a credit specialist. I just have some, some little tips that I share, some things that I've applied with my own credit. And so, I'm just sharing that information with you, and I am sure that it will assist you definitely in building your credit. All right, so when applying for a mortgage, there are 3 things that we look at. One would be your credit score, and of course we know that that is very important. Number 2 would be the GDS, that's your gross debt service. And number 3 would be TDS, and that is your total debt service. Now the gross debt service, that's your income, all right? And the TDS is your debts. And so with the GDS being your income, the TDS then pulls in your debt. And based on that, what we see is with the ratios, with this income, can you afford a mortgage with these debts pulled into the equation? All right. Now, credit, as I said before, we know that is very, very important. It's the difference between being put into a box and having options. So you definitely, you want to pay attention to your credit, and it's going to give you a lot more options with regards to home purchase. So once again, the 3 things is your credit, your income, and of course your debt. If you have a lot of debt, then that's going to work against your affordability. So the least amount of debt that you have is going to definitely, open up a little bit more opportunity for you. So you want to try to make sure that you have minimal debt to increase your chance with regards to upping that affordability for you. So you do want to try to maintain a credit score of at least 650 and up. All right. Once again, this is going to give you a little bit more options. Now, actually, 680 is considered as very good credit. In fact, one of the insurers, CMHC, will actually not take a look at your file unless you have a credit score of 680. And so here's that thing again about being put into a box and having options. The better your credit score is, the more options that you have with regards to getting approved for a mortgage. All right, so 650, definitely you want to try to have your credit around that, but aim a little bit higher. Try to build your credit. If it's around the 650, try to increase your credit score, which, as I mentioned before, with that pie chart, the different components of the credit score, you want to focus on the utilization and, of course, the credit history. All right. Now, there are programs that actually cover, credit scores that are a little bit lower, but you want to keep in mind that, that your down payment is actually going to be a little bit more. You may be looking at maybe 10, 15, and even 20% down. And this is not always attainable for everyone with regards to such a large amount of a down payment. So at all costs, you want to try to keep your credit score as high as possible, so that you can have access, of course, to that 5% down as a first-time home buyer. All right. If you are purchasing a property that is an investment property, then out the gate, that is 20% down. But if you're a first-time home buyer and you are looking to purchase a property for the first time, 5% down. If you want to secure that as much as possible, you want to make sure that your credit score is as high as possible. And as I said, anywhere from 650 and 680, that is considered as really good credit. So you want to stay around that range so that you have options, not just to one insurer, all right, but to the different insurers that are out there. We have CMHC, we have Genworth, and Canada Guarantee. And once again, with CMHC, the 680 credit score, if you don't have a credit score of at least 680, I won't be able to submit your file to that insurer. And let's say that insurer has a product that you need to have access to, but because your credit score is so low, we're not able to utilize that particular insurer. So once again, I keep going back to this phrase, it's the difference of having options and being put into a box, having good credit, having options, and being put into a box. All right. And of course, with good credit, you'll have options, and that's what you want when you're purchasing a home. Now, there are some lenders out there that will take a look at your score if it is below the 650, for sure. But it is a case by case, right? Even below 620. Once again, it is a case by case, and you don't really want to be put in that position where it's kind of nail biting, wondering if the lender is going to approve, because they're going to really be looking at your credit score in detail before giving that final answer, that yay or that nay, with regards to should we move forward with regards to the with regards to how your credit score or what your credit score is. All right, so you want to keep that in mind. Once again, this is the difference between a down payment of 5% versus 20% or 15 or even 20%. So I go back to that phrase, having good credit is the difference between being put into a box and having options. You want to have the options, especially if you're going to have to put down 15 or 20%. It's quite a significant amount more, and you might not be prepared. You might not have the finances to definitely do that. All right. Now, a few of the other things that we look at when we're looking at your, looking at your file. Now, once again, as we know, that credit is the first thing that is pulled, especially if you're serious about moving forward. And we look at, of course, late payments, right? How many late payments has there been, in the last few months? What's happened? Why are there late payments? We need to understand, or I need to understand, and I need to communicate that to the lender with regards to what has happened. Also, consumer proposals. Bankruptcies as well. These are things that we look at and can be the make or break with regards to your home purchase in being approved with a bank. Now, if you are recently discharged from a bankruptcy or consumer proposal, you're looking at about 20% down. All right. The further you are away from that bankruptcy or that consumer proposal, is the better, or you have a better opportunity of course, looking more appealing to the lenders. But if you have just come out of a consumer proposal or a bankruptcy,
lenders are not that forgiving. They're thinking, what happens if this happens to us, right? It's very fresh, it's very new. There's been no opportunity for them to look at some recovery with regards to if you file for bankruptcy or consumer proposal. All right, so at all costs, you want to try to avoid that if possible. We know that life definitely happens, but you want to definitely try to avoid that if you can. Now, another thing that you want to try to pay attention to is where your debt is concerned. All right. Now, if you are in the process maybe of purchasing a vehicle or want to purchase a vehicle, I would say hold off on that, because remember, we spoke about your income and then the TDS, right, which is your total debt service, and the TDS pulls in your debts into the equation. And if you have a vehicle, right, that could take a chunk out of your affordability, and you don't want that. And so I caution that, if you can hold off on purchasing purchasing a vehicle, then certainly hold off. And because it can really mess with the ratios, and you want to give yourself the best opportunity when it comes to making sure those ratios align with regards to your affordability, so that you can be approved. So certainly do keep that in mind. And I hope this information, I hope that it helps you a bit. If you have any questions, certainly let me know. Do not hesitate to reach out. Keep in mind, remember to like, remember to share, and to subscribe, because I will be sending out these videos. You want to be notified when I send them out. I will be making another video going a little bit deeper into the credit score, kind of breaking that down a little bit. I will say again, disclaimer, I'm not a credit specialist, but I do have some information that I provide, that I provide my clients with. And it's helped them with regards to building their credit, understanding how the credit works. That pie chart with regards to the breakdown of the different components of what goes into what that credit score is. So remember again, we spoke about, of course, the 65%, that is your credit history, and of course the utilization. So those are key with regards to improving your credit, putting yourself in a better credit position. So you want to try to focus on that as much as possible. All right. So once again, as I said, any questions, let me know. My name is Keisha Johnson. I am licensed under Royal Dominion Mortgages, but my company, it is RTS Mortgage Financial. I look forward to assisting you in some way with regards to your home purchase process.